Did the Cavaliers simply play the best team ever in the history of the NBA? Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Here are 10 takeaways from the Cavaliers versus Warriors NBA Finals Game 5. Well, the Golden State Warriors got the rubber match. For the second time in 3 seasons, the Warriors are NBA champions. Their third consecutive championship round battle with the Cleveland Cavaliers proved to be the shortest, as Golden State secured the title with Monday's 129-120 win in Game 5. Kevin Durant, a first-year Warrior, an NBA finalist for the first time since 2012, punctuated his series MVP effort with 39 points on 14 of 20 shooting. Not to be outdone, his MVP running mate Stephen Curry delivered 34 points and 10 assists. LeBron James capped yet another remarkable finals performance with 41 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. But enough about what happened. Let's figure out what it all means. Durant's critics are silenced. Number 1. Arguing against Durant's decision was always a strange move. Free agency means the freedom to sign where you please. He sought out the best situation for him and his family, on and off court, and made his way west. Even if you didn't like the politics, what would complaining actually accomplish? Not that it stopped anyone from doing so, of course, but what can you say now? Durant just dazzled on the biggest stage, proving to be not only an indispensable piece of Warriors' puzzle, but their best player. He led them in scoring all 5 times and shooting 55.6% from the field and 47.4% outside. His dagger to complete the Game 3 comeback will go down as a shot of the series. No vindication was needed. If Durant was good with a decision, it didn't matter how anyone else felt, but this marriage proved just as powerful in practice as it looked on paper. 1 season, 1 title, 1 Finals MVP. The only discussion about Durant and the Dubs at this point should be, what's next? LeBron's legacy is unchanged. Number 2. Remember how much 3-1 dominated sports talk last summer? Let's hope the same thing doesn't happen in 3-5, James' new final record. For the Jordan is GOAT debaters, James marks the championship round ends in this discussion. But on an individual level, what else was he supposed to do in the series? He became the first finals competitor to ever average a triple-double per ESPN Stats and Info, while shooting 48.3% from the field and 39% outside against the league's number 2 defense. James was Cleveland's everything in the series. The Cavs were only a -7 in the 212 minutes he played against a team that won 73 games last season before signing Durant. The Cavs were a -27 over the 28 minutes he sat, the equivalent of losing a 48-minute game by 46 points. If anything, the series only made his value as an all-time great even clearer. Say goodbye to 3-1 jokes. Number 3. Some internet passions are built to last. Put the crying Jordan face on just about anything, and you have a halfway decent chance of striking viral gold. But there was always an expiration date on the countless jabs at the Warriors' historic collapse. Maybe, just maybe, they could have enjoyed infinite infamy had the Dubs done that dastardly deed again. But by turning their 3-1 edge into a tidy 4-1 series win, this one-time gold meme should be banished to the land of flying toasters and dancing babies. Anybody remember the dancing babies? Really, it was such a strange way to punctuate what had been a record-setting season. And obviously, there was a handful of catastrophes that made it possible, but it happened. It made history, and it clouded above this group of Warriors until the final buzzer sounded Monday. It has to feel good to have the weight off their shoulders. The Cavs couldn't contain Curry. Number 4. The Cavs discovered 2 things about the Dubs over the series. First, Durant is going to get his regardless how you handle him. Second, if you want to corral this offense, Curry is the one you need to stop. The 2-time MVP struck first, averaging 28.7 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 9 assists during the first 3 contests. But Cleveland focused everyone on a harassment in Game 4, and it's no surprise Golden State lone loss coincided with Curry's series low points, 14, field goals 4, and shots 13. The Cavs attacked Curry again in Game 5, but the Warriors' response changed. They let him aggressively seek out shots through the increased attention, either on his own or in pick and rolls with Durant, and despite shooting just 2 of 9 outside, Curry scored a series-high 34 points, hitting 8 of 11 inside the arc and 12 of 15 at the line. It was MVP-ish behavior when it was most needed. Cleveland always had a fatal flaw, number 5. Despite what James and Irving conjured up in eliminating games, there was always a cap on how high Cavs could climb. The roster was a one-way power, while the competition was a two-way terror. It's rare that anything less than a top 10 defense supporting championship run, and the Cavs' 22nd ranked unit couldn't be the exception. Over the finals, they surrendered an average of 121.6 points, which would have easily led the league, and 47.5% shooting, which would have tied for second. Defensive deficiencies and debilitating against a powerhouse like this. Quote, "It's probably the most firepower I've played in my career," James said early in the series per ESPN's Dave McMahon. "I played against some great teams, but I don't think no team has had this type of power." That's his English, not mine. Iggy is invaluable, number 6. It's tempting to categorize Andre Iguodala as non-essential. He's the oldest member of the Hampton Five and the only one who wasn't an all-star selection. He's needed his minutes managed lately, and his scoring comes and goes. But in the specific series, which could continue to be the championship round for the foreseeable future, Iguodala was as important to the Warriors as any of their non-MVPs. His defense is equal parts relentless and instinctive, making him the ideal weapon to deploy against James or Irving. If one of the two can be contained by a solo stopper, Golden State's helpers can do the rest. Iguodala isn't a flashy offensive player, but he's reliable. He won't turn the ball over or force bad shots, two of this team's inherent vices. He quietly led all finalists with a plus 660 plus minus. Iguodala is now approaching unrestricted free agency, where he won't find a shortage of suitors. And with the Warriors needing to pony up for Curry and Durant, it's feasible to think Iggy will get pushed to the back burner. But Golden State must make him a priority, provided it can. Paying everyone won't be easy, but it could be if Durant is really willing to take less than the max. It has been reported by ESPN's Ramona Shelburne. LeBron hasn't aged, number 7. James' skill set and hoop savvy sometimes distract from what an incredible athlete he is. But considering he may have filled up the series' top 10 dunk reels on his own, he puts his explosive hops and unfair strength on full display. This combo of flight and ferocity is absurd for anyone. But this is a 14-year veteran who led the league in minutes per game, then simultaneously shouldered Cleveland's heaviest offensive load and toughest defensive assignment. His birth certificate says he's 32 years old, but does anyone really know how cyborgs age? Quote, "He's a Gatorade baby," J.R. Smith said, per Adam Kilgore of the Washington Post. "He was made in a lab somewhere. There's a lot of things he does we can't explain." Curry KD went out on a terrifying high note, number 8. The MVP pairing of Curry and Durant wasn't always revolutionary. There were clunky times where Curry was overly differential to Durant, was confined to the corner, so Curry had room to operate. But they were trending the right way in the postseason, and the finals had the tag team feel Golden State envisioned when putting this together. Sometimes they attacked in unison, putting Cleveland in impossible pick-your-poison scenarios. Other times they were a you go now, I go rhythm that allowed them to exploit hot hands or favorable matchups. Over the 4 wins, Curry and Durant never scored fewer than 57 points together. They combined for 73 points on 40 shots and 15 assists in the championship clincher. Their combined average of 62 was the third most ever by a championship duo per ESPN stats. Cue the Kevin Love rumors. Number 9. In 2017, championship losses aren't processed by what happened, but rather whose fault it was. And considering this is Cleveland, the popular held answer to that question is always Kevin Love. Truth be told, the 4-time All-Star played a good series, but his defense and limited mobility will always make him a Warriors target, and he timed his worst game of the series poorly. Scoreless first half, 6 points on 2 of 8 shooting. Look for Love to be cast in his popular scapegoat role, particularly as people realize how Cleveland's cap situation makes trading the only viable strategy to dramatically adjust the roster. That's an issue because BR's Howard Beck noted, catching the Warriors will require significant changes this offseason. Expect Paul George's name to come up a lot, like it does here, even though it's impossible to imagine Love anchoring that trade. But fans will want to see a counter to the Durant pickup, and Love is the most high-profile piece they will conceivably be willing to shop. Greatest team ever. Number 10. I was annoyed by Durant's mother. That's just me. That's my own demons. But I thought she was taking the spotlight from a guy who was in a professional moment. Anyway, let's go on. And it just seems very mama boyish how she interfered with the post-game wrap-up. There are 2 ways to frame what the Warriors accomplished this season, either as magical or predictable. Both tell the same story. The roster was overloaded in a way that's rarely, if ever, seen, and that talent produced something incredible. The Warriors rolled out 2 new starters and a revamped reserve unit this season. They lost Durant for more than a month, and then their head coach Steve Kerr for 6 weeks of the postseason. And still, they matched the all-time mark of offensive efficiency and it tied for the 7th most wins ever, 67. But it felt like they were just getting started. They won 31 of their final 33 games, losing once when they sat Klay Thompson and once when the Cavs set a host of finals offensive records. They opened the postseason with the longest winning streak ever, 15, and tied for the fewest losses by a champion, 1. This could have been the greatest season ever, at least, until the Warriors tip of 2017-18. Thank you for watching Shakaama Live Show. Please support the channel at patreon.com/Shakaama. Thank you.
I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. You're looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard.